what do you make of the Patrick Beverley move by the Bulls?
I love it. Barstool Sports employee. I love it.
Waddle is mad that they made the move. Waddle
I
I
don't want them to win any more games. I think their best best path to becoming prominent again is going to be if somehow, some way they can keep their pick and draft first overall. They're not going anywhere.
I agree with that. I do think that they should try to lose. I also think there's a chance we might see, DeMar maybe sit out some games, Zach LaVine sit out some games. So Pat Beverley at least makes it fun. Lose and have fun.
This is what, Silvy's on, and I think Meller was on this as well. They wanted Russell Westbrook, because sometimes crazy can be fun.
Right.
I actually think if you wanted Russ to bring some crazy to the environment, I think this is your better option. I think Pat Bev may actually physically put a foot in Zach's ass at one point during a game.
He's a dog. He's a culture changer. So why not? But I do agree with you. They should try to lose, and they're in an impossible spot because at the trade deadline, not trading anyone. I don't even blame them, because I don't know what you would trade. No one's going to take Zach's contract right this second, right? DeMar's older, Vooch, same thing. I think it's just not a very good roster, and it's just very depressing to think about how excited we were for 2 months last year, and we're right back in the same spot.
I think they could still trade Zach in the offseason.
I do too.
Yeah. They could, but I'm just saying, right now, he's got a lot of money and a lot of years, and his health isn't always great. You know what I mean? So, but I agree. I think the offseason is probably more realistic for a trade if that's the route they want to go with. I have had some daydreaming about somehow the Bulls losing. I think if they lose 2 more spots in the standings, they would go up to they get I don't know, a 15, 20% chance or something.
If they get Big Cat, if they drop to the 5th worst record in all of the NBA, they're not going to get inside the top 4, because those guys are just horrible. The Rockets, the Spurs. Who else is there? The Pistons and the Hornets.
The Hornets.
But the Bulls have a chance. They're 26-33, pretty much the same record as the Pacers. They're a couple of games ahead of the Magic, and the Lakers are close to them as well. But if they go on continue this losing streak, they may find themselves realistically with the 5th worst record in basketball. And that just gives them a 42% chance to not only keep their selection, but to maybe get the first overall pick.
Right. And and then we start playing the game. The Derrick Rose draft kind of screwed all of our brains up. We're like, oh, maybe the league's hey, we need Chicago to be good again. Victor Wembanyama time.
Yes.
That's what I've been daydreaming about.
Hey, by the way, I think Silvy came back from Mexico with maybe the best money-making idea that we've had on this show in 16 years.
Can you make the shirt?
Okay.
Is this the shirt idea?
Yeah.
Tell him.
Okay.
Well, I think the shirt idea, the one from the very beginning of the show, we played a soundbite from Tim Anderson, who was blaming Chuck Garfien for not being more supportive of the team as he was broadcasting over the course of the year. So
as the pregame show host.
Yeah. So instead of Tim and the rest of the Sox taking responsibility for them underachieving themselves, there's some finger pointing, and it led us to the conclusion that, listen, that's not what you should do. If you did that in New York, or you did that in Boston, you did that in Philly, hell would come down on you. In Chicago, we want to love our athletes. So Silvy was actually physically over on the other side of this desk humping something.
Big Cat. All I want to do as a Chicago sports fan is hump.
He wants to hump.
I could be tough on our athletes, but really in the grand scheme of things, when they say, oh, the media wants to just hate, I'm a fan. All I want to do.
You want to love your team.
Think about this, Big Cat. The Bears are drafting first because they have the worst record in the league. They have the most money in free agency. All I want to do, and I'm buying. I'm I'm in. Let's go. Let's move to Arlington. Because why? Because I want to hump.
Yeah.
That's
Give
all.
us hope. I agree.
Can we make a Barstool shirt that says either let's hump or I just want to hump?
I just want to hump.
I'm just here to hump.
It's the truth, because it's it couldn't be worse right now. It couldn't be worse.
No, think about
everything. We even had Patrick Kane walk-off goal last night that might be his last game in a Blackhawks uniform, and then it gets disallowed. Like,
I just want to hump. We just want to hump.
It was almost a cool moment, and I started to hump. It was kind of a cool moment. It almost beat the clock.
By the Cubs. What was the Cubs were like 13-2 to end the season last year. They're going to be a 500 team possibly.
I was humping at the end of the year. Yeah. I mean, Jameson tie on you.
It is true, because I always think about, and Kyle Long's a dear friend of mine. I love him, but I always laugh because he knows he made a mistake. Remember the moment? I think it was the Bears-Dolphins game when Brandon Marshall and Robbie Gould got in a fight, and he said after the game, the fans booing at halftime is unacceptable.
Yeah.
And Kyle Long is still beloved. Yeah. Like, if that happened in Philly, they would have had his head.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like,
you know why, Big Cat? Because all we want to do in Chicago is a hump. We want to hump our teams.
I'm in. I might not be in right now. I'm belly full of bread, but I'll lay flat.
Get over the bread hangover, and then we'll hump.
The teams can hump me. I'll just lay prone.
It is so true, though. The whole concept is they poop all over us here in town, and we just still want to love them.
Yes.
All you got to do is wink at us. Just wink at us.
Blow my ear.
I think it's going to turn. I really do, because it can't get worse.
You're humping right now.
You're humping right now.
The Hawks are in a rebuild.
Yeah, I've had this conversation with myself. Like, it literally can't get worse. It can't. Like, the Bears are the worst team. The Blackhawks have been in a rebuild for feels like forever. The Cubs are not going to be good. The White Sox were supposed to be an incredible team last year and completely underperformed. And the Bulls are back to square one. It can't get worse.
What should we do?
It's got to get better.
What do we do?
We got to hump. We got to hump. We got to trade that first pick for like 15 first round picks.
Oh God! Can you imagine the hump that's going to go on? All the humping if they do that.
That's really what I want. Is like I like everyone always laughs about the process in Philly. Like, I want a process. I want the Bears to trade this first round pick and get it so that we have like 25 picks coming up in the next 10 years. So I can just be like,
ever.
2032. We got the number one pick from the Browns.
You won't make it till then because you'll be exhausted. You'll be in the hospital from humping.
Yeah, and bread.
and bread.
and bread.
Great stuff, Big Cat.
All right, thank you, boys.
Get some rest.
Yeah.
All right,
sleep it off.